Today we're talking about getting you shredded in 2025. There are three massive mistakes that people make when they're trying to lose weight, and these get them to quit. 40% of dieters quit within 5 days. 80% of dieters quit the diet within 20 days. And most people think this is simply because they don't have discipline or they don't want it hard enough. But it turns out it has nothing to do with that. Some of the most disciplined people who built businesses, built great companies, have great relationships, they have everything else figured out, so meaning they're very disciplined, actually end up quitting their diets faster than anyone else and not being able to lose weight. The massive rates of diet failure are actually because of something else. And it's that people who succeed to lose weight and get in top shape ends up being less than 1% of all the people. They are able to put weight loss on easy mode versus putting it on hard mode and constantly fighting it. So instead of telling you how you need to have, robot-like self-discipline, be like David Goggins, and you need to, really, really want it hard enough, instead, I'm going to share with you the mechanism behind how you actually make your weight loss go on easy mode. And then I'm going to share with you the actual tactics of putting that mechanism in place for you, so your weight loss goes on easy mode. So these will be the 5 ways to make your weight loss effortless and be on easy mode until you get shredded. If you do all these, I guarantee you will lose more weight faster and easier than ever before. And I know this is true because this is all I do all day, every day for the last 17 years. I've helped transform over 1,200 clients so far. And the reason I'm able to do that at will, literally every person, doesn't matter if they are man, woman, slow metabolism, fast metabolism, have big bones or whatever it is, I get them shredded, all of them, because I implement these 5 steps that I'm going to share with you right now. So tip number 1 is actually what I call the mega tip, and that is your environment is by far the biggest driver of your behavior. Your brain always wants to do things in an easier way. So let's say you said, hey, I want to go there, wherever it is, I want to make 5 steps or 10 steps. I want to go a mile from here. Your brain asks, how can we do that with the least possible amount of energy that it takes to get there? How can I achieve that with using as little energy as I possibly can? There's actually a great book, I think I have it somewhere here, right here. It's called The Path of Least Resistance by Robert Fritz. Please check that book out. But essentially, it comes down to this. Energy preservation is what our brains are wired to do. So if your environment is created in such a way that it takes an enormous amount of energy, you have to be a robot-like, self-disciplined, like David Goggins type in order to achieve something, the answer is you will not achieve it. The outcome is you will not achieve that. So let's talk about the 3 main areas that you really need to do in order to get shredded and how your environment and putting it on easy mode helps that. Let's see how that actually works. Number 1, food. Obviously, your diet is everything when it comes to getting, really lean and losing body fat. You want to lose 20 to 50 pounds, it's diet. If you want to lose 15 pounds, it's your diet. If you want to lose 100 pounds, it's your diet as the number 1 driver of that. So how can we put your environment so that it makes your dieting or eating better easier, makes it effortless, makes it so that it's actually easier to eat well than it is to eat, in a way that basically sabotages your diet. So number 1, don't have junk in a house. It's the easiest thing, but simply don't buy junk food and don't bring it in a house, or anything that is really high calorie and not that satiating, such as nuts and nut butters. They are really healthy for you, but they're calorie bombs. So if you have a peanut butter, that little jar of peanut butter, and you're watching TV and you're like, hey, I just had dinner, so I'm going to have a little bit of peanut butter, and you have 3 teaspoons of that, you just ate 600 calories of snack, right? Even though it's healthy, it's 600 calories and your diet is gone for that day. So make sure to not have junk food or candy or healthy foods that are actually calorie bombs. So don't have that in the house. And then also think about how can you maybe prep food in bulk, which is the secret that's not a secret of dieting. If you have, 8 pounds of chicken breast and you prepare that and it takes 30 minutes to clean it and to just put it in the oven and it just bakes, you've won the weight loss game. And same thing with other protein sources, etc. So figure out how you can actually have more vegetables and more fruit everywhere around you and no junk food in the house. If you had that, imagine right now, you're hungry, you didn't prepare any food, you came home from work or wherever, and you're really hungry, and there's nothing to eat. There's nothing in the house to eat that is really high calories and very hyper palatable, and you open the fridge, and there's chicken ready. You just put it in the oven, or microwave for 30 seconds and it's ready to eat. You have some cut up vegetables, you have some low-fat cheese, you have some, fruit, and you eat all that. How are you going to not lose weight with that? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible that you won't lose weight with that. And then when you do want something, like you're like, I really am craving ice cream, that's okay. Go sit in the car, drive to the store or walk there, whatever, have ice cream, eat it there, and then come home and don't bring it to the house. That's it. And then figure out 5 other ways that you can make your food or the food you eat so that it fits the calories you need, because that's all you already know the calories are king, but how do we actually do that? That is the question. So making your environment easy, number 1 is the food. Number 2, exercise. So let's say I have a gym that's 45 minutes away from where I live, and I have to sit in the car, drive 45 minutes, do the workout, and drive 45 minutes back. You know how many workouts I'm gonna do that way? 0, because it's just not gonna happen. I don't have hour and a half to drive there and back, plus the workout of an hour or whatever. So what, 3 hours to do work? Like, I would never work out if that was the case. So figure out what's the closest gym. So going that path of least resistance, how do we make your workout easier to actually do than not do? Or let's say you said, okay, I'm gonna go for a run. Okay, have your shoes, running shoes right there, have your workout clothes there, buy yourself nice shoes, buy yourself nice running shoes, nice workout clothes, gonna motivate you to go there. And other ways that you can figure out to make it easier, buy an annual gym membership and literally tell yourself, okay, I just bought, a couple $100, maybe $500,000, whatever it costs for a year, and I'm gonna be the biggest idiot to pay $1,000 a year and not go to the gym. Or, pay a coach, have a workout buddy, all of the things that are gonna make you much more likely to do the workouts than not do them. Okay, join a running club, join a cycling club, whatever it is. Number 3 is steps, daily steps. How many steps are you doing? Basically allocate in your day, put it in your calendar to 60 to 90 minutes per day of walking. And I don't want you to take an hour and go walk, which is great compared to no walking, but instead I want you to have 10-minute walks scheduled several times throughout the day. So you say, at noon, I'm gonna have 10-minute walk. If you don't have time, make it a 5-minute walk. And then say at 3 p.m., I'm making another 5-minute walk. At 6 p.m. and whatever, 6 a.m., it doesn't matter when it is. Ideally, when you wake up, especially if there's, sunny day, even if it's not sunny, you need to be exposed to daylight. That is by far the best way to have your circadian rhythm work properly so that you sleep on time, go to bed on time, wake up on time, etc. So try to figure out how you can actually incorporate these 60 to 90 minutes per day, and that's what it takes to get your 7 to 10,000 steps a day, because that's really what's going to help you live longer. Okay, that was number 1, your environment. Number 2 is people around you. Who are you surrounded with? So find every single person that you know is absolutely shredded, in top shape. When somebody asks you, okay, think of the fittest person you know. Okay, now I want you to think of them. Like, who is that? Doesn't matter, man or woman. Think of them. Do you think that person is hanging out with obese people all the time? Again, nothing against obese people. They're humans just like we are. However, do you think the fittest person you know, all their friends and family members and everybody who they hang out with, and most of the time they spend time with obese people who are not exercising, eating, thousands of calories a day, they don't care about their health? No, of course not. They also hang out with people who are very likely healthy. And majority of people who they hang out with are exercising, doing dieting properly, thinking about calories, eating healthy food, etc. So think about, in your environment, who are the people who are driving your behavior in a negative way, meaning they say, exercise, you don't need to exercise, or hey, let's have some burgers and fries and pizza, it's fine, like, the hell with your dieting, you'll be fine. Today, it's just one day. Those types of people you have to cut out of your life, or maybe if that's a little extreme, if you have family members, then make sure that you have a reduced amount of time spending with them. Tip number 3 is accountability. Remember, you're not an island. Nobody makes it out alone. And of course, I'm sure out of 1 million people who try dieting and getting shredded, one of them makes it on their own. And that one is like, yeah, you don't need anybody. Instead, if I told you have a 1 in a million chance of succeeding, then would you say, well, those are great odds, I want to go for that? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't suggest it, okay? Accountability is really basically putting it on easy mode if you're accountable to something or someone. So in that regard, if you have a coach, a trainer, a workout buddy, whatever it is, and speaking of coaching, that's what I do. If you want to join the group of people who are already on their path, go check out rippedceo.com. This is the program that I put together that basically shares everything that I do with my clients. It's right there for you to do it on your own. And of course, you'll have an option to join a group of people where we're doing that in a group setting. And of course, if you want to get one-on-one coaching and work with me one-on-one, which is the fastest, most guaranteed way that you will absolutely get shredded in the next few months, then there's a link below this video. Go check it out. You can book a call with me or somebody on my team. We can figure out if we are a good match. If we are, a couple of months from now, you'll be in the best shape of your life that you've ever been. And that's a guarantee. So accountability is everything. If you don't want to be coached or don't want to, join whatever program, you can make other ways that you are accountable. You can literally say publicly, go on Facebook or whatever social media or YouTube, wherever, and say, hey guys, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to publicly announce that I'm going to lose 30 pounds in the next whatever months. And then you are risking that people make fun of you. They say, oh, look at that guy or girl. They always say and never do it. And that pressure is basically keeping you accountable. Now, this can absolutely backfire because, now you're feeling that pressure that it's really not internal motivation. It's external motivation. But again, at the end of the day, whatever gets you to do the right thing, I'm all for that. Like whatever gets you to exercise and get proper diet in place and stick to that, whatever it is, even if the negative that negative motivation is the motivation, that's still fine because it's leading you to a positive thing. So remember, accountability is everything. Please make sure that you're accountable to something or somebody. You will absolutely 100x your chances of success by doing that. Step number 4 is, are you measuring progress? Most people just diet and they don't track anything. Or the worst case scenario is they're tracking weight on the scale, which is absolutely by far the worst way that you can track it, simply because your weight will fluctuate 1 to 5 pounds every single day, and it's all water fluctuations. The majority of your body weight, 60 to 65% of it, is water. So if you haven't slept enough or well, or if you're really stressed out, or if you really had more carbs or less carbs the prior day, or maybe you've drank a little bit more water or less water, you have worked out, maybe you have some inflammation, maybe you've done a longer run and you're all swollen out, or if you're a woman, your hormones in the menstrual cycle, depending on the week of the cycle that you're in, can be all over the place. All of this means you can literally weigh 5 pounds less tomorrow morning or 5 pounds more tomorrow morning. So if you get on a scale after a week and you're like, I want to see what I've done, and let's say there's no change, you're like, oh, I suck because I've dieted and it didn't, nothing happened. Or maybe you dieted really well, but you gained weight and you're like, oh, this sucks. I have slow metabolism, it doesn't work for me. And in reality, you actually lost a pound of fat, but maybe you just retained 2 pounds of water, which is nothing. And then you can think that you actually gained a pound. You actually did gain a pound of weight, but that's just water. You actually lost a pound of body fat, which is excellent. So your diet is working. So please make sure that, number 1, you're tracking progress. Number 2, you're tracking progress properly. And that means tracking body fat percentage, or the amount of fat that you have lost. For that, use the fat caliper. I suggest the Slim Guide fat caliper, not affiliated anyway, but here's, on Amazon, you can get it for like $10, $12 or something, and just measure body fat percentage week to week to week. You will see it declining, meaning you are actually getting leaner. You can see that visually. You can measure it with a caliper. You can also see your clothes fitting better, but make sure you're tracking progress properly. And finally, step number 5 is the most unsexy, the least sellable. It's like the hardest thing to sell to somebody as a story is that you need to work on your self-image, which is your identity. This is the hardest part because it's mind work. It's actually not anything that you can physically do. It's mind work. And I've said this probably thousands of times over the last 17 years as a coach, and that is, I tell my clients, I can get you wherever you want to go. Like, you're now overweight or obese, I can get you to look like a fitness model. It's just a matter of months, how many months we're going to diet. 3 months, 6 months, 4 months, whatever. But I can get you to look like a fitness model. But I guarantee you, you're not going to stay there. You're going to gain it all back if we don't change your self-image. If you don't upgrade the self-image, the way you see yourself, it's not going to work until we change that. So please read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It is the book that is, basically I call it the life Bible. That's the book that I've gifted more than any other book in my life. It is the book that has changed my life and changed anybody's life who's ever read it. Please read that book, Maxwell Maltz, the Psycho-Cybernetics. It all talks about self-image. And basically, the way you see yourself now, your current self-image is the way you look now. When we talk specifically about, by the way, there's self-image about how much money you make, how happy you are, how good of a lover you are, how like everything. There's self-image, and your level of self-image is the current limit, and you can't go over it. So let's say you make $100,000 a year, and you say, I want to make $1 million a year. Like I want to 10x that. If your self-image says, well, that's great that you want it, but you are a $100,000 a year person. It doesn't matter what you do, you'll never make $1 million. If that self-image says that, then that pushes all of your activities to support things that a $100,000 per year person does. And the things that, or activities that $1 million per year person does, they will not happen because your self-image will sabotage them. Same thing happens in dieting world. If you say, I'm just a chubby, overweight guy with a stomach and love handles, and that's what you think now. Because, and by the way, your self-image is based on your experience. Like your brain is like, okay, let me see what I have looked like for the last 5, 10, 20 years, and that built your self-image. And now you say, well, I can diet and lose fat and start getting abs and have defined chest and arms, or if you're a woman, you want to have sexy butt or lean legs. All of that will happen, but that will not stay if your self-image does not support that. So let's say you're in great shape, but your self-image is still, yeah, but I'm really just a fat, chubby guy. You will self-sabotage your own activities that led you there, and then you will slowly go back and you will regain all the way back. So please work on the self-image. This is 90% of what I work with my clients is really about upgrading their self-image, and then activities that support that new body, we're making those into habits until they become automatic, until they say, I see myself as a really ripped, shredded, strong guy that, when I walk, everybody looks and says, damn, he's in great shape. So, for example, for me, I was a fat kid. I had the worst self-image ever. So that's why I was like yo-yo dieting. When I was 16, I'd lose 30 pounds, gain 40, lose 40, gain 60. I was, 220 pounds as a 13-year-old kid. Until I found this and spent, years and years, I would actually say a decade plus, studying self-image, reading Psycho-Cybernetics every month for 2 years straight. I read that book 24 times. Fully, like read it, A to Z 24 times in 2 years, because one of my mentors told me that my life will never be the same if I do that. I believed that and actually did it. So that's what I suggest to you as well. I think it's a little extreme, but it absolutely changed my life, because after that, I'll tell you, in those 2 years, I went from kind of yo-yo dieting back and forth to getting shredded, and I've been shredded 20 plus years since then and never regained the weight, and I never will regain the weight again. And my income went six or seven times at that time from what it was then. I literally 6x'd my income, which is insane. And again, because and then if you read that book, you'll see how to actually change your self-image. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I actually have a video right here on how to do that, and specifically the steps that you need to take to change your self-image. So guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please apply these 5 steps. Create an environment in which it's really, really easier for you to win than it is to not win. You can go check out rippedceo.com. This is the program that basically what I do with clients is just do it yourself. You'll have an option there to also join the group of entrepreneurs and business pros who are doing the same thing that you are. They're getting in the best shape of their life. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, or consider exploring doing some coaching one-on-one, check out the link below. You can book a call and we can talk about it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.